It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Your alarm goes off. You slam it down, roll over, and for just a second, you lie there feeling the weight of your own body. Your stomach feels bloated. Your face feels puffy. You haven't eaten a single calorie yet. You haven't moved. You haven't done anything. And by every logical measure, your body should be in full fat-burning mode right now. You've been fasting for 8 hours. Your glycogen stores are lower. Your insulin is at its lowest point of the entire day. This should be the golden window. This should be when the magic happens. But here's the brutal truth that nobody is telling you. What you do in the next 45 minutes is going to decide whether your body burns fat or aggressively stores it for the entire rest of the day. Most people have no idea this window even exists. They think fat loss is about what they eat at lunch or how hard they push themselves at the gym. And those things matter, sure. But if you've already poisoned your hormonal environment before 8 a.m., none of it will save you. You could eat perfectly clean all day. You could swallow organic vegetables and grilled chicken and drink 2 liters of water and still show up at the gym and crush a workout at 6 p.m. And your body will still refuse to release the fat you're desperate to lose. Not because you're broken. Not because your metabolism is permanently damaged. But because of one single decision you made or didn't make in that first hour after your eyes opened. That's how powerful this morning window really is. This isn't a conversation about calories. It's not about cutting carbs or doing more cardio. What we're really talking about is a hormone, one that most people associate with stress and nothing else, but which is actually the master controller of your body's entire fat storage system. That hormone is cortisol. And more specifically, we're talking about something called the cortisol awakening response, a biological event that happens every single morning inside your body, whether you know about it or not. Most people don't just ignore this response. They actively destroy it. They sabotage it within minutes of waking up, and then spend years wondering why they can't lose belly fat no matter what they try. Today, that changes. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop fighting your body and start working with it. Here's something that will completely shift how you think about your belly fat. Inside your body right now, there's an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL. This enzyme is essentially your fat storage switch. It's the biological mechanism that decides whether the energy floating through your bloodstream gets burned by your muscles or gets locked away inside your fat cells. Think of it like a bouncer standing at the door of a nightclub. LPL decides who gets in and who gets turned away. When cortisol is elevated and chaotic, LPL is wide open and extremely active, pulling energy out of your blood and shoveling it into storage. And here's the part that makes belly fat so uniquely stubborn. Your visceral fat, the dangerous fat packed around your organs and pressing against your abdomen, has up to 4 times more cortisol receptors than any other fat in your body. Belly fat isn't just fat. It's a cortisol magnet. So every morning when you wake up in a state of metabolic vulnerability, dehydrated, mineral depleted, with your adrenal glands running near empty, your body is asking itself one fundamental question. Is the world safe right now? If you send the wrong signals in those first 45 minutes, your body answers with a hard no. And once that answer is locked in, your LPL enzyme activates, your fat cells close up like a bunker under siege, and for the next 16 hours your body is in pure storage mode. It doesn't matter how hard you exercise after that. It doesn't matter how clean your dinner is. The decision was already made at 7 a.m. while you were still yawning. But if you learn to send the right signals, you convince your body that it's safe, that resources are available, that there's no emergency. And when your body feels safe, it lets go. That's what this protocol is designed to do. The very first signal is what I call the hydration reset, and it might be the single most underestimated thing you can do for your hormones. The moment most people wake up, they stumble toward the coffee machine. And that instinct is completely destroying their cortisol curve before the day has even begun. Here's what's actually happening inside your body during sleep. You're losing approximately 1 liter of water just through your breath. By the time your alarm goes off, your blood has thickened, your heart is working harder to push it through your arteries, and this physical strain alone triggers a cortisol release before you've even gotten out of bed. Your adrenal glands, the tiny organs responsible for producing cortisol, don't run on willpower. They run on minerals, specifically sodium and potassium. When those mineral levels drop, your adrenal glands interpret it as a resource emergency and respond by dumping even more cortisol into your bloodstream. Coffee, being a diuretic, accelerates the dehydration and makes every single one of these problems worse. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple, but the science behind it is profound. The moment you wake up, before your feet hit the floor, drink a large glass of room temperature water, not cold, because cold water shocks your digestive system and creates a mild physiological stress response. Room temperature. And here's where it gets interesting. Add a small pinch of high-quality sea salt or pink Himalayan salt to that water, along with a squeeze of fresh lemon. This combination is sometimes called an adrenal cocktail, and it works because sodium is a biological safety signal. When your adrenal glands detect adequate sodium levels in your system, they interpret it as confirmation that resources are available, that the environment is stable, that there is no emergency. Your aldosterone levels drop. Your adrenaline drops. And most importantly, your cortisol drops measurably within minutes of drinking it. You're not forcing your body to do anything. You're giving it permission to stand down. The second signal is about light, and most people have never considered how profoundly their morning light environment is shaping their hormones. Deep inside your brain, there's a tiny cluster of nerve tissue called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This is your master biological clock. It doesn't just control your sleep-wake cycle, it governs when your hormones release, when your metabolism speeds up, when you have mental clarity, and when you crash. When this clock is properly synchronized, your cortisol rises sharply in the morning, peaks quickly, and then declines in a clean, healthy arc throughout the day. That sharp, early cortisol spike is actually a good thing. It gives you energy, mobilizes fuel, and sets the hormonal tone for fat burning. But when the clock is out of sync, cortisol doesn't spike cleanly. It drags, stays elevated at the wrong times, and keeps your body in a state of low-grade chronic stress all day long. The only thing that calibrates this clock properly is natural morning light. What most people do instead is wake up and immediately stare at overhead LED lights or the glowing screen of their phone. That artificial blue light emits around 500 lux, just strong enough to confuse your brain but nowhere near powerful enough to properly trigger your wake-up hormones. Your hypothalamus receives a muddy, ambiguous signal. Is it morning or evening? Your circadian clock stays disoriented. But when you step outside within 30 minutes of waking up and expose your eyes to natural daylight without sunglasses, because those filter out the exact wavelengths your retina needs, everything changes. Even on an overcast day, natural outdoor light delivers over 10,000 lux. Those photons travel through your retina directly to your hypothalamus, triggering a clean, sharp cortisol spike that peaks and begins falling almost immediately. Your circadian clock resets to the correct time. Your brain begins producing serotonin, which will later convert to melatonin and actually improve the quality of your sleep that same night. 5 to 10 minutes outside. That's all it takes. The third signal is the one that produces the most resistance, but it might be the most metabolically important of them all. You need to wait 90 minutes after waking before you drink any caffeine. Not 60 minutes. Not 45. 90. I know exactly what you're thinking and I understand. But hear this out completely before you dismiss it, because the science here is genuinely surprising. While you sleep, your brain accumulates a metabolic byproduct called adenosine. Adenosine is the molecule that creates sleep pressure. It's what makes you feel tired and signals to your body that rest is needed. During sleep, your brain's glymphatic system works to clear adenosine out. But when your alarm goes off, that clearance process hasn't finished. There's still residual adenosine circulating in your brain. If you drink coffee immediately, caffeine molecules flood your adenosine receptors and block them so you feel artificially alert. But the adenosine doesn't disappear. It piles up behind a chemical dam, waiting. Around 2 p.m., when the caffeine wears off, that dam breaks. Adenosine floods your system. Your energy crashes suddenly and completely. Your brain is overwhelmed. And what does your body do during a perceived energy crisis? It releases cortisol, a massive, disruptive afternoon spike of it, at exactly the time of day when cortisol should be naturally declining. That cortisol spike triggers cravings for fast sugar, your blood sugar spikes, insulin floods in, and all of that energy gets shoveled directly into your fat cells. The afternoon crash, the sugar cravings, the uncontrollable snacking, the unexplained belly fat that refuses to leave. All of it traces back to coffee at 7 a.m. When you wait 90 minutes, you allow adenosine to clear naturally and completely. You allow the cortisol awakening response to complete its full, healthy cycle without interference. And when you finally drink coffee at 8:30, it amplifies a nervous system that has already established its own stable baseline. No cras. No afternoon cortisol spike. No cravings. Clean, sustained energy all the way through. The fourth signal is movement, but not the kind that most fitness advice pushes on you. The widespread recommendation to do high-intensity interval training first thing in the morning, before you've eaten, while your cortisol is already elevated, is genuinely counterproductive for anyone carrying excess visceral fat. Here's why. Intense exercise creates a hypoxic signal in your body, a state of oxygen deficit that your nervous system interprets as a physical emergency. That emergency signal triggers another cortisol release, layering stress on top of stress, and telling your belly fat in the clearest possible terms to stay exactly where it is. The movement that actually works in the morning is slow, deliberate forward walking. And the reason it works goes deeper than calories burned. When you walk forward, your eyes are continuously processing a stream of passing scenery. Trees, buildings, sidewalk, sky. This visual flow is called optic flow, and neuroscience has shown that it directly quiets the amygdala, the fear and threat detection center of your brain. Walking forward is evolutionarily hardwired into your nervous system as a signal of agency, control, and safety. When you combine that 10 to 15-minute morning walk with the natural light you're already getting outside, you're sending your body a double signal, light and forward movement happening simultaneously, both communicating the same message. We are active, we are in control, we are safe. And safety is the entire game here. Safety is the hormonal state in which your body finally agrees that it doesn't need to hold onto those visceral fat stores anymore. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You just need shoes and a direction to walk in, and your biochemistry will do the rest. The fifth and final signal is about protecting your brain during its most neurologically vulnerable window. You cannot look at your phone for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Not one notification, not one scroll, not a single glance at email or news or social media. When you open social media first thing in the morning, you're flooding a brain that is still in the process of calibrating itself with a simultaneous hit of dopamine and cortisol. You're absorbing other people's chaos, bad news, comparison, and manufactured urgency. Your sympathetic nervous system fires immediately, fight or flight, activated before your feet have touched the floor. And a brain that starts the day in reactive, threatened mode will stay reactive and threatened all day. Your cortisol never settles. Your belly never unlocks. By simply protecting that first 30-minute window, reading, breathing, journaling, sitting with your own thoughts, you give your parasympathetic nervous system the space to establish genuine calm as your body's default baseline for the day. Here is what the full protocol looks like in practice. You wake up. You don't touch your phone. You drink your room temperature water with sea salt and lemon. You go outside within 30 minutes and let natural light reach your eyes for 5 to 10 minutes. You walk forward slowly for 10 to 15 minutes, eyes moving through the world. You come back inside, still away from your phone, and you let your mind be quiet. At the 90-minute mark, you have your coffee. That's the entire system. 5 signals delivered in sequence, reprogramming your cortisol curve from a jagged, fat-storing disaster into a clean, fat-burning arc. Your LPL enzyme stays quiet. Your belly fat becomes metabolically accessible. You don't get the afternoon crash because you never triggered the afternoon spike. By lunchtime, you're not ravenous. By 3 p.m., you're not hunting for sugar. By dinner, you've naturally consumed 30 to 40% fewer calories without a single act of willpower. This is what it means to stop fighting your body and start communicating with it. Most people spend years exhausting themselves with diets, cutting food groups, white-knuckling through hunger, dragging themselves to the gym out of guilt, and they wonder why nothing sticks. They were never broken. Their willpower was never the problem. They were just sending the wrong signals at the wrong time to a body that was listening to every single one of them. Your belly fat isn't stubborn. It's obedient. It's responding exactly as designed to the information your morning routine has been feeding it. Change the signals and you change the response. The fat loss becomes a consequence, not of suffering, not of restriction, but of a system that has finally been given the right instructions at the right time. Starting tomorrow morning, you have everything you need to rewrite that code.